This is episode 19, a solo episode with me as we continue to discuss KLZ Method and what is the formula. Welcome back. Today we're talking more about the method of KLZ Method and specifically regarding the formula. So within KLZ Method, that is this offset, this response to, in a world of growing technology, we're coming back to being human first. This is what I call a revolutionary response to the modern world where we're prioritizing humanity over hustle and standing up against the intensity and chaos of hustle culture. I've sort of created this systematized approach that brings us back to our sovereignty through the innate guidance and wisdom held right in our very own bodies. So I've recognized over the course of creating this a few things that I constantly had to do to redesign how I was living my life. And with the intention of coming back to my own power, with the intention of coming back to my purpose. 5.5 years ago, I really set out with this, just saying, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And so along that whole journey, KLZ Method was it. It was the essential creation of all of what I'm meant to be in this lifetime, all put into the systematized approach. And what's cool about it is that it wasn't just fitness and, fitness according to the energetic bodies of the chakras. And it wasn't just Reiki, and it wasn't just microdosing with psilocybin and stuff like that. It actually is an overall systematized approach at how to do these things. And so this formula that I experienced in myself and that I saw in other people as they were going through similar journeys or that needed support in some of the coaching that I offer, this formula became very apparent. And so I say that this is a direct pathway that calls us higher, making powerful shifts to ourselves, for ourselves, and for those around us. So it's anchored in self-awareness. This process is the cornerstone of transforming our reality moment by moment. By finding a system of empowerment, we anchor in a new pathway to higher dimensions of evolution. And that's what we're doing here. We are evolving. Humanity is always evolving, but specifically right now on planet Earth, we are going through a massive awakening. We've shifted from the old Piscean way into the age of Aquarius. You've heard the songs back in the 70s, but we really shifted into the Aquarian age where we're no longer beholden to gurus or to another religion or some kind of dogma to sort of regurgitate what higher source, what God is telling us. We're now able to find that within ourselves. It's here. It's in nature. It's in us. We are nature. So it's everywhere. And in this Aquarian age, it's the age of information. There's so much information, but as you can see with the internet, all of the information that is available there oftentimes can have disinformation. And if you're buying into some of these media outlets and these sources that are telling you what to believe, you are giving away your power because you actually hold the truth in yourself. You actually hold the capability of determining and sensing and intuiting the truth in your own body. And that's a big deal. That's a really big deal that a lot of folks aren't realizing and aren't learning and aren't being told. But a lot of us are feeling that. We are sensing that. Like, no one's going to tell us the truth. They're only telling us, if you want to talk about politics or if you want to talk about religion, everyone's sort of like out to bring in their own best interests. Even when they say that they're not, they still can't. It's just innate to be doing that. When you are able to discern the truth in your body, I have this meditation that I shared a few podcast episodes ago of putting one thing in your left hand and one thing in your right hand if you're trying to make a tough decision, saying, do I want to go left here or do I want to go right here? And then feeling in your body is able to indicate to you. You'll feel it. Maybe not the first time, maybe not the second time, but as you realign back into having that connection, that relationship with your body, you will begin to get answers from your body. It's amazing. And I have to also say that, it sounds so lovely that it's like, oh, for sure. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad it works for you. But that's not my experience. But imagine if you had a friend, a best friend, and you didn't listen to anything that she said. Or he, you didn't listen to any of the guidance, any of the insight. You didn't listen to anything that she was sharing with you. You shut it down. You took an ibuprofen. You took, whatever kind of medications we can take now. You covered the check engine light in your body. You didn't want to feel the negative feelings. You didn't want to feel pain. You just wanted to feel good. And so you just ignored any of the insight that your body, your best friend had to offer. Do you think that in a regular relationship, if you weren't listening to somebody communicate to you, that relationship would be a healthy relationship? There's just no way. Relationships are built on communication back and forth. And so if this is something that you're just coming back to, you're completely right on time. You are exactly right on time with this evolution that's happening right now. There's so many people that are really feeling this and coming back to the connection with their body as their best friend and as a tool. People get mad at me when I say it's a tool. Like, your body's not a tool, but it really is a highly proficient opportunity. It's a tool. I mean, we have all of these manuals. When you get an iPhone, you have pages and pages of things that you can go through to understand how to use your iPhone or your TV or all these other technologies. Your body is the most advanced technology on the planet, and we have no manual. It blows my mind. So this formula is sort of a guide to that manual, and that manual is something that is there are things, and that's what KLZ Method offers. It are a lot of the tools and the mechanisms that I found of how to reconnect to it. But essentially, you are learning your own manual. Your manual is different than my manual. My manual says boxing feels really good for heart chakra, to move heart chakra energy. And I'm happy to share that with you. I'm happy to show you all of the things that I have experienced. And in my sharing of my experience, I'm really hoping that you try it on and say, man, I get what she's saying. But you know where I really feel heart chakra energy moving? When I'm doing this. I'm really feeling it here. And so you're able to backward engineer your own method. Okay? So this is the formula. These are the things. These are the 4 things that come along with this whole KLZ method, this direct pathway that's calling us higher, that's making powerful shifts, that's anchored in self-awareness and is the cornerstone of transforming our reality. Are you ready? Am I holding it out? Am I holding out on it? I don't know. I'm not. I'm like hyping it up. So the 4 things are: pull your power back, feel good first, know your note, and embodying sovereignty. Okay, those are the 4 things, and I'm going to go into them, of course. Pull your power back. This is a way of intentionally designing the life you desire by pulling away from anything that's not in alignment. And that can be relationships, that can be jobs, that can be ways that you drive to work, that can be how you eat your lunch, the foods you eat. There's so many different things of where you can pull your power back. It can be beliefs and mindsets. I know a lot of us have mother-in-laws that we kind of have to pull back the power from. And, you know, that's not to say that we don't love our mother-in-laws, but it's like this is just such a great description. And I'm not picking on anybody's mother-in-law, and I'm not picking on mother-in-laws in general. This has just been a really big one for me specifically. And it isn't about the specific person. It's more about the way of the systems. You know what I mean? So in some societies, mother-in-laws come in and they do things a certain way. And they are this specific role to the children, and they are very much set in that role, in that pattern. But if that's not what you want, and then now you're just going along with somebody else's role and someone else's pattern and someone else's belief and mindset and what they think they should be in your life to your children, but ultimately you're not down with it, it becomes very apparent. And especially for women with children, we feel this where it's like, man, I'm not cool with this. And I've been a people pleaser my whole life, where I would just go ahead and do, you know, whatever it is that everybody else wanted me to do just to keep the peace and to make sure that everybody else is happy, because I value everybody else's happiness, sometimes more than I value my own. But really coming to say, like, this isn't good for my kids. There's elements of this that aren't good for my kids. I can't do that. I'm not doing that. I have to change this. And then you see the ripples that happen, and then it becomes very apparent, you know, the whole system that was really set on something beyond really being in that moment and being in the truth. You know, it's you can see it so clearly that it's based on a system rather than the actual relationship. Because the grandparents, they love the grandchildren so much, right? And they just can't help sometimes. Their mindset, their belief patterns are so anchored and rooted in the old ways of how it was supposed to be. And this new way is not very comfortable. And maybe it's not fair to them, because maybe they did the thing for their in-laws. And now they're like, well, I did it for them, so shouldn't they have to do it for me? It's like, this is pulling your power back. You're pulling your power back just to cultivate what and how you want to live your life in integrity, in authenticity, in love. So, of course, not being nasty, but it's just like, no, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for my family. To do what you guys want us to do and then have the kids out late and have all of these things happen, I can see isn't good for my kids. And it's not just one time or two times. I can just see that there's places that I need to pull the power back here. I need to pull my power back. It's uncomfortable, especially for those of us that are people pleasers and that we've been in these codependent relationships, It's not easy, but when you start pulling your power back, another one that I see very clearly is hustle culture. Wherever it is, if it's in like, gee whiz, the birthday parties, my God, you see like all these, and Christmas, like we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to make the merry, we have to make the birthday party memories, we have to have all the different things. It's like, I catch myself getting wrapped up into it. I'm like, you know what, we're just going to have to miss that one, and we're going to have to miss this element of it. And if that means we have a terrible childhood, I'm betting that that's not going to be the case, but you can just feel yourself getting wrapped up in the hustle culture. You can feel it in the corporate America where it's like, let's go, let's get this, let's get to this next level, let's do this, let's make this next level change for our entire business and for ourselves. Let's make these milestones of what we can make in terms of money. Let's make these milestones in terms of how many clients we have. Those things feel good. It feels good to see milestones. You can still do them, but are you doing them in an empowered way? Another one is our fitness goals. God knows, I've lived this whole life as an athlete, running and competing, and there's so much good in that. There's so much. It's beautiful to feel that masculine energy of action and competition and really going for it. But when it's coming to that place where, just do it, one more rep, these kind of things really creep me out a little bit, because it's saying go as hard as you can and then go one more, or just fucking do it, because what you've done isn't enough. And I get the mentality and I get the mindset of where and what we're saying is like, you can actually find another layer of yourself beyond the place that you think that you're limited. Totally down for that. I just want us to do it in a way that's mindful and cautious of, are we giving our power away to something else? Are we giving our power away to the people that we're working out with, or with Nike, or, with these different places of these different versions of who we think we are? Are we doing this in an empowered place? Where are we making the decision? Or are we doing it out of like, I don't feel like I'm good enough, I need to do this, or I'm not good enough? So that's pulling your power back. There's a lot there, a lot of gray space, a lot of like, am I or am I not? And it's not just black and white, there's a lot of gray space there. So practicing pull your power back is going to be a lifetime. Even when you've done it 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, you're always going to find new places that you need to pull your power back. Say that you make it all the way into this whole new version of yourself and you feel so peaceful and you're aligned with your workouts and your work and you're aligned with your relationships with your in-laws and everything is so great. You're still naturally, as a human, as a human being, our whole existence is about transmuting old stagnation into higher levels of vibration. It's alchemizing. It's clearing old stagnant energy and amplifying that to something higher. So when you get all the way through this, you're like, oh, I have made it. I have done it. I am winning. And there's just going to be something else that comes up. There's just going to be another layer of it. It's just like an onion. There's always going to be another thing. And then you just start the process over. This isn't about getting it done, because there is no done until we are, out of this body. So this is just a process. This is just a way of finding and fielding and mining and learning and loving our shadow. Truly, they are the best teachers. These opportunities, they're not things that we want to eradicate. They are beautiful opportunities for us to transmute and to bring ourselves higher. And the thing that's really cool about it is, once you've transmuted something like that, it's not just that the shadow, the anchor, the darkness, the pull to a lower frequency is no longer there. It's that you've actually taken that whole weight and you've thrown it up in the air and now it's pulling you higher. So you're literally taking up residence in higher frequencies. All right? That's pull your power back. I love it. It's my favorite. I see it all the time. It's so cool. The next one is then feel good first. And so with feel good first, we are connecting with higher vibrations of feeling good as a mechanism of amplifying what we're calling in. So once we've pulled our power back, We're starting to pull our power back. The next thing that we can do to add on to that, and of course all of these we can do at the same time, is to start finding the places where you feel good. What makes you feel good? When I was beginning this journey, nothing made me feel good. There was nothing. I remember driving home in traffic with no music on and just sitting in traffic like numb. And I was like, what am I doing right now? What have I become? Where did I lose myself? Nothing feels good to me. I couldn't even believe it. It was shocking to like really come to terms with. Nothing feels good to me. Nothing. There's no music I want to listen to that inspires me. There's no clothes that I'm really feeling inspired about. Like everything was just gray. So we start with small things. There's always something that makes you feel good. If you're not feeling good about anything, well, geez, getting into bed feels pretty damn good, you know? Or that first sip of warm coffee in the morning. It started for me like just getting up early to get into traffic at 5:30 or 5 and waking up at 4:30 to like get my coffee maker going, and then my creamer, this terrible creamer that I loved, putting that in my coffee, and that first cup of coffee, that first sip, it was just like, oh my God, it was so good. And it was so subtle. But I started to just whisper to it before I drank it, just whispering like, I love you so much. I love you so much. I'm calling in more moments of feeling good like this. Show me more. Because when we're feeling good, we are in, if you think of yourself as a vibrational scale, if you think yourself on the lower vibration, you're in these other feelings. I have a PDF that I can share on this. If you're in the lower vibrational emotions of sadness or depression, or if you're in the mediocre emotions of feeling okay, I don't know the names of the emotions right now, I don't have the thing in front of me, but if you get into like the other things of feeling joy and feeling bliss, you go up this whole range where you are on higher vibrations. So when you are speaking out what you're calling in the moments that you feel good, you're going to receive that back. This is laws of manifestation. These are the laws of the universe, they say, you know. I didn't believe it at first. I was just kind of like, yeah, right, whatever, fine, I'll do it, you know. And I really did feel that joy. I really did feel that, like, that comfort from that coffee, the warmth of it and whatever. And so I started to just whisper to my coffee. And then I would notice, you know, when I woke up in the morning and hit the snooze button for one time, it was just like that moment where you're like, oh, you roll over onto your stomach and your stomach feels good and your arms feel good hugging a pillow, or it's cool, or whatever it is. Whispering in those moments, oh my God, this is so amazing. Please, I'm calling in more moments like this. And there's a difference between this and praying. They say when you're praying, you're begging because you're saying, oh, please don't let this happen. And please give me this, please. They say that praying can be, more along the frequency of begging. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that we can pray that can really be powerful in a positive way as well. But whatever you're putting out, you're getting back. And I'll tell you a quick story because I'm already running long on this one. I can't help myself. I was working with a coach when I was in this dark space, and she said, why didn't you call me sooner? I could have helped you. Your parts of your soul have started to leave your body. You're just not, your soul isn't in your body. Where have you been? Why didn't you call me? And so she started to help me with these things. And one of the things that she told me was, you are doing great when you're in your manifestation mode. You're doing great on the full moons. You're doing great on the new moons when you're outside and you're in the grass and you're seeing the moon. You're doing great there. But what's happening is you're not sustaining that vibration. It's just like a boomerang. This is what she told me. It's just like a boomerang. You're throwing a boomerang out on super high levels. You're going to the 10th floor and throwing out your boomerang when you feel really good. But then your energy drops down to the 4th and 5th floor. So when that boomerang comes back, you're not there to catch it. And so you need to find a level that you can sustain, even if it means you're not manifesting from such a high place. God forbid. Yeah, right. Of course I'm going to. You want to find a place that you can really continue to hold that energy. That's not easy. It takes practice. But when you find these little moments of feeling good first, and you make them a priority to feel good, where do you feel good? Calling in more of that, making sure that you feel good. That's the pathway towards it. Okay? So that's feeling good first. Know your note is recognizing and further refining your exact authentic frequency as your life's signature and your code. This is like your key. This is your key. Knowing your note. So when you start to feel good, like just what I was saying, like I'm on the 10th floor manifesting outward, sending these things out, like please bring me this, I'm ready for it, I see it, I know it's coming, it's here. I'm living in this energy of like it's already arrived. And then I drop down during the work week for just like, oh, I'm just going to, plow through this week or whatever. Recognizing and finding your authentic frequency is like your note. It's your exact vibration. It's your key. It's like a musical note. So if I'm maybe like a C sharp and you're like a D sharp or whatever, we're different notes of frequency. When you find your frequency and you start to really go further into it and really refine it further. So, in Hertz for the solfeggio frequencies, they have like 163 or, all these different frequencies and stuff like that. When you start to find your specific frequency, it might be 193.2. And then as you get more refined, it might be 193.26 and then 193.2654, whatever. You can really, really hone in. And at the beginning, it might just be 100, We're just really honing in on our specific frequency, and that is found through feeling good first. When you find the things that feel good, when I'm riding my bike and I'm like got my arms out and I'm like letting that wind wash over me and it's running over my heart chakra through my arms, and then my legs are pedaling and I can feel the sun on me, and it's just like a whole machine that's cultivating and creating my frequency. And then I go back and I drink cold water, and then I have like a watermelon on the way home, driving back to my house, and then I get home and I have some nourishing food. You start to find your feel good first, and then stringing those together, you start to really see your note. And your note is basically created through a lot of these things that you're going to start recognizing pop up a lot. If it's the cup of coffee in the morning, if it's the covers in the morning, if it's laying down for a bath before bed or whatever, you're going to start to find your whole sort of lifestyle. And in that lifestyle is going to be your authentic frequency. And when you're in your authentic frequency, you start to command. Morgan told me this word one time, command your life with the universe. You're not just saying, hey, universe, toss me this. You're saying, I'm commanding with you. I am creating this reality. I'm doing the things and I'm doing it in good energy. And that is when the embodied sovereignty comes, claiming the liberation and shifting in our physical body from reactional living to conscious living. So we're no longer living in reaction to the coach that's blowing the whistle at us, telling us to do one more rep, or, the response to, hey, go get these leads and go make more money, or to the in-laws or to Christmas or to birthdays. We're not just like this leaf that's blowing around in response to hustle culture that's saying, you got to do more, you got to be more, you're not enough. We are now living a conscious life that we are designing through pulling our power back, through feeling good first, and through knowing our note. We have created this whole new existence that is a higher level existence than what most people are living on the planet. And when we do that, we're not just shifting it for ourselves, we are emanating that. People are going to notice this from you, around you. They're going to want to be around you in this way that you're living. I've seen it happen. It's so amazing to watch people kind of cultivate this whole new embodied sovereignty. Like you are liberated. You have liberated yourself. The matrix is living its whole thing, and we dip into the matrix to do our matrixy things. We have our healthcare there, we have our 401ks down there and stuff like that, and we can go down there, we can play the role. That's like where we used to kind of vacation from matrix into the higher realms. Like if we were like living this matrix life where we're doing 9 to 5s and we're in the traffic and whatever, and then we took a vacation. We vacated our life because our life was fucking terrible. Sorry, I've lived it. I can say it. Like when I'm vacationing, I'm like, holy hell, get me out of this freaking life that I'm living. No longer are you vacating from that life in the 3D matrix life. You are now claiming that you are residing. You're claiming residence in the higher frequencies. And so, yeah, you dip down, just like if you have to do, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something terrible. You have to take your recycling stuff to the recycling plant. Sure, you drop down and go over to the recycling place. Or you have to dip down to go to the DMV and do your license or whatever. We can dip on in there, dip into those systems, and we can maintain our residence. We start to really leg the two worlds, where you have one leg stronger footed in the higher vibrations, but you can still, fit in the 3D. You can still dip down there and you can do your things, and you know how to wear that suit too. So this is the formula. It's so cool. I'm so excited to share it with you. I'm really interested to hear how you feel it, how it feels as you try it on, and I hope that you reach out and let me know how it affects you, what you like about it, which one is maybe your favorite or whatever. It's just such a powerful experience, and this is literally has been my own journey over and over and over and over again. I've done this sometimes, in multiple times in a day, sometimes multiple times in a moment on different things. That was episode 19, all about the formula of KLZ Method. We'll come back in this next episode to discuss more about the 5 pillars of being human first. This is really an essential element of the method as well. Please, it would mean so much to me if you could rate, review, share, subscribe, like, all of those different things to support this podcast. It really is important, I know that for the algorithms to be able to see that people are interacting with this. It means so much to me, and it really amplifies this whole experience and journey for others that are perhaps searching as well. So thank you for being with me today. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. You guys mean so much to me. I love you. Sat Nam.